3.125, right foot step, left foot slide. 3.125, left foot step, right foot slide. 3.125, right foot step, left foot slide.
Okay. There's a game in the room over there, the gaming area. It's called Chainduel. I'm Francis. I'm developer of Chainduel. I work with Pedro, he's a designer. And today I'm going to tell a bit about the history of Chainduel, what's the technology behind it, a bit how you can build a lightning game like this, and talk a bit about the future and the plans. So let's go. For the people that didn't play it yet, I already harassed a lot of people around here to come and try the game, but if you haven't played, the game is over there, but I will explain a bit. It's like a snake game, so there's 2 players. And 2 players, they compete, there's 2 chains, each player is a chain, and they both compete for the next block reward. So you might know the game, it's Snake, the old Nokia game, and even from older than that. But in this case, it's two snakes, 2 chains, and the food, it's a coin base, a block reward. So it's everything about Bitcoin analogies. And on the top, there's both players' names. There's a kind of lightning channel, like it resembles a lightning channel that has the liquidity of both players. And as you take the food, the coin base, you take sats from the opponent. This is mainly the gist of the game. So what we are trying at Chainduel, we are trying to create a very engaging, very competitive experience. So we hope that sometimes I'm in the battlefield, I see people really into it, really competitive. And we are in the background just enjoying to see people having fun with the game. So background, gaming. Why gaming? People have been playing games for thousands of years. There's young people, old people. There's games with a big history of playing and even influencing history by itself. So I think it was a very interesting research to learn more about the history of gaming. Also, Halving himself was a game developer, and there was this game Tron, for example, that kind of resembles Chainduel, the way that the chains cut each other off. Sometimes it resembles Tron a bit. So an homage to Halving, everybody knows him for sure. And the Snake game by itself has a big history. I didn't come up with a 2-player Snake game. Maybe I gave it an interesting twist with a lightning integration, but there was already 2-player Snake games before. But there's a big history of Snake games. You can see some images here. So it was also very interesting research. If you are interested, you can go look into it. The first version of Chainduel, I came up with Chainduel as I was reading Mastering Bitcoin, and I read a small chapter in the end about Lightning. Back then, it was mind-blowing for me that finally fast and cheap transactions were possible, and I wanted really to integrate something to try it out, and I'm not sure why I came up with Chainduel. This was the first version before I figured out how to implement Lightning. It was just free to play, 2 players. It's online. You can still play if you want to. A lot of people ask me when I'm going to integrate a multiplayer version for Chainduel. It already exists a multiplayer version of Snake Duel that you can play on your phone. Even you can see the joystick that I programmed in the mobile phone there. So this is the part that maybe most people find it interesting here, the Bitcoin integration of Chainduel. So how does it work? I use LNURL, payment and withdraw. When you fund a transaction, it's actually in Lightning it's called payments, but in Lightning there's invoices, and normally you use a phone to scan them and to send the payment. LNURL works slightly different. In LNURL, you request the server to send you an invoice, but in this case to send is almost the same way it works, that you scan this invoice, and these invoices will tell you what's the minimum amount, the maximum amount you can deposit. But LNURL has a very interesting feature that it allows you to send a note with a payment. And my game uses this feature. You can see here, after you scan and you pay, you can send your name in the notes, and the game recognizes that as your username. So for the high scores or for the tournament mode, it's very useful. And then, for the withdrawal, it's very simple. You just, after the game, the winner withdraws the total of the deposits. But in this case, the LNURL, because if it was a normal invoice, the game would have to have access to a camera to scan your QR code, or you would have to find a way to send the invoice in a text to the game. So this way, LNURL makes it easier that you can just scan this QR code, you request an invoice, and you pay it remotely. LNURL facilitates this. Of course, eventually, Bolt 12 will be more widely adopted, and it will maybe replace LNURL in a more Lightning native way. So let's see the developments on this, and if Chainduel is going to implement it or not. Some features of the game. So you play your game, you lost your money, you are a bit upset. What do? You challenge your opponent to a double or nothing. It creates an even more engaging, more competitive scenario for the game. It's very fun. You should try it out. And then one of the latest additions is the tournament mode. In the tournament mode, every player scans the same QR code. So in Lightning, invoices are only usable once. So LNURL allows you that the same QR code can be paid multiple times. So we take advantage of this in the game. In the tournament mode, you see there's only one QR code, and everybody sends a payment with their name, and it's randomly attributed to the place in the bracket. So today we are going to have a tournament. I'm not sure, I think at 7 p.m., but everybody will be warned by then. I hope everybody comes to play and to watch. We are going to be 16 players. Each player deposits 20,000 sets, and then the winner, in the end, is going to withdraw 320,000 sets as a prize. So hopefully it's going to be a lot of fun. And the value split. In Chainduel, each time a player deposits sets, there's immediately a split that is based, maybe you have read Dergigi's Lightning Prisms article, that the moment you deposit, the sats are split. Of course, 95% stay and will be give back to the winner, but there's a 5% that is split within me, I'm the developer, the host or the sponsor, and the designer, Pedro, that helps me a lot. He's not only a designer, he also programs some front end and CSS and stuff that I'm not so good at, so it helps a lot. Past events, well, the game is 1 year old right now. The first event, we've been in the Lightning Tuskegee Summit 1 year ago, like a couple of weeks. And ever since then, the game has been invited to many events. I think it's like the 14th event. It's not all of them are written here, but the bigger ones. And we already have some plans for upcoming events. So if you want to play Chainduel, normally in the conferences we make very big tournaments. In the last Bitcoin Atlantis, we made 5 tournaments, and it's like 5.2 million sets in prizes plus beatboxes and swag for the players. It was a lot of fun. So now I'll show you some pictures of the events, the conferences that Chainduel attended, for you to have an idea of also the development. This is a picture of the first time Chainduel was officially mentioned somewhere known digitally. There's, in the Lightning Tuscany Summit, they printed a paper and they mentioned Chainduel here, and of course me and Pedro were super happy. It's finally real. Now the game, it came to life. And people really liked it. It was a Lightning Summit, so everybody had sats, everybody had a Lightning wallet. People really were happy about trying this new game, and I got very good feedback. And it made me work even harder for the next conference, which was Miami. We bought an arcade machine, and we made some very nice prints. And people really had fun playing with the joysticks, more classical feeling. But to be honest, I think I prefer like with the setup we have here, with a couch, with the remote controllers, and it's more because Chainduel has become like a sort of social event that gives a platform for Bitcoiners to gather and be Bitcoiners, use the Bitcoin technology. Not only you are only playing, but you are watching and talking about other stuff that you like with your Bitcoiner friends while you are using Bitcoin. So we are providing a space that not many projects, I think, right now are providing, and I think that's one of the reasons people like the game so much. This was in Riga, the first time we had a tournament. Salvatore won. He was one of our first professional players in the world. And it was very cool. So this is where more known people started playing Chainduel and getting to have a notion that it existed. Then Madeira, this was Bitcoin Azores. It was very cool because we also made a very nice tournament. It was an unconference. It's less organized. It's in a beautiful island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. This is a video. This is just a short time lapse. It's for you to have an idea how it will work today, the tournament. So this is how it will work. Everybody is depositing sets. They get a place in the brackets. Then you play against each other. In the end, the winner takes all. That it was Rugsy, and Rugsy is winning too many tournaments. So I need players to become better and compete because Beatbox doesn't let me give money to Rugsy anymore. So please practice, guys. This was in Amsterdam. Amsterdam was a very nice conference for the game. We had a lot of players. And I also gave a talk about Chainduel. It was my first talk, so it also attracted a lot of attention, and the tournament was also very good. So every time we keep making some little improvements in the game. Of course, in the beginning it was a lot about usability, players. It was not so polished, so I had to work a lot of this. We've been working 1 year on the game. It seems simple when you play it, it's just a snake game, but there's a lot of work behind it to make it smooth, to make it an experience that is frictionless and that people understand and it's enjoyable. Build the Builders, Viareggio. This is the same in the same place as the Lightning Tuscany Summit, and most of my better players attend this conference, so it's very competitive. And you can see that it was so competitive that we are playing in the bars, in the floor, on top of vases while it's raining. So it was everywhere. People really got into it in Viareggio. And then Plan B Forum, the week after this, it was the first time we made a tournament on stage, a final tournament. It was really cool. We had Joe Hall narrating the tournament, and he's so good. He's very skilled at his job, and it was amazing to see him perform this spectacle. And also the players very competitive because there was a qualifying round before for this tournament on stage. The prize was very high. It was nearly 2 million sets, so the people wanted to win. And you can see here on stage, the players are cheering, and I don't know. It was very funny because there was a moment that the players made rock, paper, scissors to see which one was going to get the next food, and it was a funny moment. Plan B for now was the conference where I had the most games per minute, so it was one of the most successful. Adopting Bitcoin in El Salvador, the Bitcoin country. Of course, I hope one day Chainduel becomes the official sport of El Salvador. Bukele, if you are here, if you are watching this stream, please think about it. It was very cool. We also made a tournament on stage. We can see it on the left bottom corner, and a lot of players as well. And I have a video that we made a video of Bitcoin Atlantis. Atlantis was our biggest conference so far. It was 3 days, so we had a lot of games. And we made we had 4 tournaments that qualified to the final tournament. And it's Bitbox sponsored. They donated a very nice prize for the winner. So it was a lot of fun. And we made a lot of publicity, a lot of advertising. And we also made a summary game video after the tournament and the conference. So it's not in these slides. Maybe afterwards I can put on Twitter. But this is just to have an idea, because people accuse me that I go around the world making 5% fee. I take only 2%. But if you see the statistics, so in Madeira we had 209 games and 257 total deposits. And there was 8.6 million sats, which is a lot these days. In fiat terms is quite a lot of money deposited, and 8.1 million withdrawn. And we make, in average, we split 400,000 sats in fees, which you might imagine is not enough for all the work we do, all the work beforehand, and the conference. They provide us a big space to do all of this. So it's not really profitable, but we are working to scale it and hopefully make it more profitable. So if you are a developer, a lot of people ask me, how can I build my own game? How can I build my own Lightning infrastructure? So Chainduel is open source, first of all. So if you want to go in the repository and you want to change the images, or you want to change the way the game works, if you think it's too fast, or if you don't trust the random algorithm I use a lot of people also accuse me that I hard code the location of the ball, so I always win. So no, the code is open source. You can check it out and you can fork it, you can run it. The point of Chainduel is that people run their own games in their own meetups. So it's not that people have to connect to my node or to my infrastructure. How it works, the way I implemented Chainduel for now is that it uses LNbits. LNbits is an accounting system for Lightning. And LNbits allows users and developers to write extensions and integrate it very easily. And I use the LNURL withdraw and LNURL deposit for the, and I forgot to mention before, LNURL also has LN addresses. So you can make a payment to Lightning using like an email address kind of string. And this is how to use for the split payments. It's also an interesting capacity of LNURL. And in here, this is the API that I use to implement the LNURL payments extensions and withdrawals with LNbits for the game. And this is how it works. Bitcoin is the base. You need to have the blockchain. You need to for the transactions and the addresses, all this that you already know. I'm making a very short description. But Lightning is a layer 2 that allows Bitcoin to be transacted, to make payments a bit faster and cheaper than normally. Sorry that I'm so fast, and you know this probably. And then I use Ride the Lightning to manage the LND, which is the Lightning node that I use. It gives a graphical interface for channel management, closing and open, and also for circular rebalances, loop outs, loop ins. It's very. There's also other ones. Thunder Hub, if I'm not mistaken, and the Lightning Terminal. They are both useful. I use all as well sometimes. But then they all connect. The LND connects to LN bits. That allows the extension that I was mentioning to connect to my backend. I call it MarsPay. The reason I gave it a name is not only a backend, is because I'm trying to develop a bit further so that I can release it open source and everybody can build their own Lightning apps, games very easily, because I have it connects through to LN URL, in this case with the REST API, and there's webhooks for the notifications of payments to my backend. And it manages all the, in this case, it's managing already still the game. Hopefully it was going to be more generic in the future. And gives socket notifications and communication with a front end that is Chainduel. But this can be used to build many kind of applications, not only Chainduel. Chainduel is just a proof of concept for what's possible in the future with Lightning. And this is a good example. In the Bitcoin Amsterdam, I was invited to develop this, it's called an art installation for the main stage. You can see here there's QR codes on the main stage. And in here, in the stream, you could see that when somebody pays the QR code, it makes an animation and it shows a Bitcoin quote, a Bitcoin image, some sort of random, funny Bitcoin thing. But also the audience can interact directly with stage and send a sentence for everybody to see. So it made a kind of interactive experience for the stage, the main stage of Bitcoin Amsterdam. And it was cool. I was happy to use my backend, MarsPay, also to develop this application. So this is what I was saying. This is the wrong order, but this is how I use what I use for the value split. I use the extension called split payments. It's basically you just put the LN address, and every time you get a payment, you can send a percentage to this address. It's very simple. And conclusions, if you are thinking to building on Lightning, there's been a lot of hate on Lightning lately. If you go on Twitter, you think Lightning doesn't work. But Lightning is working. Maybe there's some drawbacks, of course. There's always problems. People are working on it, and we will see what is possible, of course, with due time. And it's getting much easier to build on Lightning. A few years ago, the knowledge and the software was not as good as right now. So, for example, I showed you with LN bits, it's very easy to build a Lightning application that maybe it's not going to be production ready to scale to millions of people, but it's perfect to prototyping and to try on. And of course, there's problems in Lightning. Sometimes payments fail, or you have to manage your own liquidity. People are also working on this. And so yes, and managing and maintaining channels sometimes can be a bit of a hassle with rerouting and circular rebalances. So the future for Chainduel, of course, everybody asked me when I'm going to put the game online. The game is online, not multiplayer online. You have to have a person next to you. It's not so technologically complicated to make it online. I'm still trying to grasp what is the best way to move forward with Chainduel, but of course online is always top of my mind. We are also thinking to implement other forms of interaction. One I'm most excited about, it's implementing Noster's zaps and the identity layer for the game. This way, because I explained before, people send a payment with a note, and this is their name in the game. If you use a zap, you can already send automatically without having to do anything, your name, even your picture that we don't have in the game, but eventually we can put images for the players. So it's also we can create a more social component for the game. If every time you play a game, it shares automatically on your Noster account, or if you can make it public events, for example. Of course, people also ask me, I will develop a bot to win all the games. We are also thinking to develop a bot to win against you. So in the future, probably this is going to be my next step, to implement a practice mode that people at home can play against a bot to practice for the conferences, for the tournaments. And in the future, when the prizes get so big that there's no liquidity on Lightning enough for the game, we are starting to thinking about on-chain tournaments that the players make, for example, a multi-sig or using mini-script, something that we didn't think the details yet, but can be also an interesting integration for the game. And live feed, we already actually did a very nice stream on Bitcoin Atlantis. Of course, we still have to improve, and there's always connection problems, but we use Zapstream, and we had a lot of viewers, given that the platform is still growing. Okay, and hopefully in the future, we are going to have a esports scenario where thousands of people are very, very excited to see the final match between both best players of the world. Okay, thank you very much.
I want to ask you some things since we have you here. First of all, I first played Chainduel in Riga, right? He had it there at the fun room, basically, where all the toys were, lightning beer and other things. And we played. Ethan is not here, actually. We need to find him. I played against Ethan and I lost. So now I need to challenge him to a rematch. That needs to happen like tonight at the latest. Okay. Tonight we're also gonna do the Chainduel tournament, right? Who wants to win some sats? Sats? Yeah.
More excitement.
Okay, 3, 4. Okay, we have some signups. That's good. I like what you mentioned with Nostr, because Nostr is an identity that you control. The server doesn't control it. And you said it can grab your profile picture. It can even grab your gaming history, because a node can carry any amount of data. And basically you can, every time you play, you can publish or an encrypted or a plain text thing that proves what happened to the game. And basically you can have a public history of a leaderboard. So that should be a good implementation for that. I had an idea. What about an ELO score? ELO, like in chess? I think that would help with challenges, and it's like a fixed algorithm. It's been tested for like hundreds of years, right? I don't know, what do you think about that?
Yes, I didn't mention in my talk. We already discussed the possibility of a ELO. It's used for many games. Even multiplayer games already implement ELO score. Not only 1v1 like in chess, but even 5v5. There's already ways of implementing ELO scores. This will work very well when Chainduel is scaling, it's online, and people are playing around the world. ELO is very good to find an opponent, to find a person at your level. And we are also trying to thinking about implementing in the future a teams mode that we can gather with, for example, Bitcoin companies to play against each other also 2 versus 2.
Okay, well, that's good. Okay, so we will do the tournament. Francis will tell you about the details. We are going to take a break in a bit. The food is getting ready in a few minutes. Go take a bathroom break. What's important is that we're doing the proof of work session of Nostr with Vios during the break at room 101. At the same spot, you will also be challenged to a Chainduel game. That's the casual thing, so you can practice. If you haven't tried it now's the time to warm up those thumbs, right? Okay, give them a few details about the tournament, and we'll go on a break.
Okay, guys, what time is the tournament, George?
Like 7.
Okay, so around 7 in that room. It's going to be 16 players. I was already explaining how it works. We need 16 players. I think we are going to get them, hopefully. And it's going to be 20,000 sats deposit per player in the beginning. And then the winner will take everything in the end. So it's going to be competitive, guys. I want to see a lot of good players there.
3.125.